which changes every week, just like the regular gospel accounts, except it's an 11-week cycle, about the disciples on the road to Emmaus, because I didn't want to have to talk about the pigs again. This story, this episode in the life of our Lord, it's very important, a very interesting one. Because I've mentioned before that the resurrection of our Lord, it wasn't like the resurrection of Lazarus or the resurrection of the son of the widow of Nain, where life was just pumped back into their bodies. Our Lord's resurrection was a unique resurrection because he was able to appear through doors that were locked. He was able to change his characteristics so that people didn't recognize him. These men knew Jesus very well. They were apostles, disciples of our Lord, and were very distressed, discussing these horrible things that had happened and this news that was coming. So they knew Jesus, but they were unable. Our Lord hid his identity from them and then taught them. And our Lord, you can see once again our Lord's frustration, even in his risen state, how slow you are to understand the scriptures, and he explained to them how he fulfilled the scriptures. And those teachings have been passed down through the years and the ages. Because our Lord taught it to us, he revealed it to us, he revealed it to them, and then they shared it with the other apostles. But they were unable to recognize him until the breaking of the bread. That's when our Lord chose to reveal himself. And of course, an important thing that we do at the Divine Liturgy, of course, is I prepare the lamb, but right before communion, I break it. I break that lamb into 4 pieces and place it on a discos. That's the ultimate breaking of the bread, the breaking of our Lord's body. Our Lord's body had to be broken. He had to die first in order that we could share his glory. He says that very specifically. Which realized that the Messiah had to undergo this so that he could see his glory, so that we can share that glory. So that's the ultimate expression. Our Lord reveals himself to us. I keep emphasizing that fact, but it's important. We're incapable of doing it on our own human power. Today's epistle reading to the Romans is a perfect example of that. He's talking about the law. He's talking about the zeal of the people of Israel, but it's not an informed faith. And that's really what, as Orthodox Christians, we can respect and understand and see the faith of the non-Orthodox, or even the non-Christians. We can see their faith and their zeal and their goodness. But as St. Paul said, it's not an informed faith. We are the ones to whom our Lord revealed himself fully. But it's built on that foundation. Trouble is now they take that verse out of context, saying, profess with your lips that you believe in your heart and you'll be saved. But you have to have a foundation. It has to be an informed faith. We can't just be brainless and professing with our lips. That profession, that faith has to be informed, just like he said. They have a zeal and a faith, but it's not informed. We have to be informed. It wasn't enough for the apostles on the road to Emmaus to have faith. Our Lord informed them. He taught them the scriptures. He taught them how he was the fulfillment. And even then they were still unable. But he did reveal himself to them, but it was after they had an informed faith. It was after they shared that faith and continued to grow in that faith. There's no one shot at salvation. I mean, and that's what unfortunately, that's what's selling a lot now. When we look at these mega churches with thousands and thousands of people, and it's mind-blowing to us, but they're selling cheap salvation is what they're selling. And it's very sad. I mean, these are good people. I'm not saying they're not good people. I mean, their faith puts us to shame in many respects, but it's not an informed faith. We have greater responsibility because of the great treasure that we have as Orthodox Christians. But we must recognize our Lord. We must allow our Lord to enter into our hearts. These men were grieved and upset. It wasn't until the breaking of the bread that our Lord was able to enter into their hearts. And then they were able to profess and recognize and see and announce his holy resurrection, a resurrection which was his glory, a resurrection which will be our glory. So as we continue this liturgy, let us appreciate the amazing gift of our Lord's resurrection and how really it's beyond our comprehension. I mean, the whole, if you try to grasp it, figure it out, you cannot possibly do it. I mean, this man can eat, he can do physical things, people can touch him, he's not a phantasm, yet he can appear through doors, he can transfigure himself so that he cannot be recognized. It's an amazing thing. If we try to grasp it, we can't. But with the faith of God and with the grace of God especially, we can accept that and realize that we are sons and daughters of his kingdom. Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.